Where do we begin to talk about, this defeat? Where do we go from here with regards to how things have panned out and all of that? I said something earlier in one of my videos, and somebody came in my comment section and was saying, oh, how could you say Michael Carrick's game management is a problem and all of that? But we've seen it evidently, like the honeymoon period, the honeymoon phase and everything is gone, literally, right? That is gone, and you basically have a situation where we are now struggling to win games, right? We struggled to win against Bournemouth and we drew. Now we've struggled to win against Leeds and we've dropped 4 points from Leeds and dropped 4 points to Leeds, right? Leeds have taken away 4 points from a possible 6 from us. This is absolutely disappointing. And in as much as we want to kind of blame other factors and all of that, the starting lineup in itself had questions. And I'm like, I ask myself a question, like, did Michael Carrick not do his job on this Leeds side? Don't you know in the first place that it's difficult to play against a side playing a back four? Don't you, playing a back five? Don't you know it's difficult to play against a side playing a back five? And don't you understand the situation where a team can play with a box midfield and still be able to defeat you? When they were playing against 3 against 2, 3 against 4 in the midfield, they had a box midfield of 4 players, literally, against our 3 players in Casemiro, Ugarte, and Bruno Fernandes. They had Tanaka, Ampadu, Okafor, and Aronson. That is absolutely, they will be +1 on us every time. That's why they were outrunning us, running through the middle and everything. No matter how much Ugarte chased or Casemiro chased or anything whatsoever, it was going to be a disappointing run. But it is what it is. We're here. Welcome to United Talks podcast, and we're going to be talking about, basically the player ratings for the game. So you're welcome to the player rating show. We'll break down things, and only 5 players showed up today. But it is what it is. We're going to talk about all of them. Now, just to give you a bit of stats before we get on with the player ratings, we're going to start with the top stats with regards to the game. Man United finished the 52% ball possession to Leeds' 48%, and expected goals was at 1.31 for Man United to 2.37. Then you had total shots 20 for United, 15 for Leeds. Shots on target 9 for United, 6 for Leeds. Big chances 1 for United, 4 for Leeds. Big chances missed 4 for Leeds. If Leeds has scored all their big chances, we'll be saying different things. Especially if Tanaka scored his goal, it will be a totally different ball game. It will be 3-0 by the time he had scored. And then accurate passing. Think about it. They had 373 accurate passes with 83%, while Man United have 400 accurate passes with 84%. That is a poor game. Fouls committed, Leeds had 15, United had 12. Corners, United had 11. We made nothing out of any of those 11 corners. Leeds had only 4. Poor from corners, poor from set piece, was really difficult. And you look at, when it comes to like the defense, we had 18 tackles, Leeds had 12. We had 14 interceptions, Leeds had 8. We had 6 blocks, Leeds had 8. We had 25 clearances, Leeds had 39. So they defended really, really well. We had 3 saves from Senne Lammens, and Leeds had 6. They defended really well, like I said, and the keeper was good on the day. 60 duels won for United, 43 for Leeds. Ground duels won 36, 54%. Leeds 31, 46%. Aerial duels won 24, 67%. Leeds 12, 33%. And then successful dribbles, they had more successful dribbles, 50%. 8 successful dribbles, we had 5, 56%. So it's really tough. On the XG front, we had 1.31. They had 2.37, I said earlier. XG open play, 0.58. They had 2.0 because they scored 2 goals from open play. XG set play, we had 0.72. They had 0.36. Set pieces were crap. Non-penalty XG, 2.37, just as the expected goals, 1.31, same. Then XG on target, we had 1.83 because we had more shots on target, and they had 1.52. But it is what it is. It's really difficult because the truth is we cannot be coming off a defeat to go and play Chelsea next week. Even though Chelsea are coming off a defeat, everybody's going to be hungry. But if you're coming off a good run of form, win against Leeds, we go to Chelsea and we try to beat them, then we will know where we're headed with regards to this. But then we're still in 5th, in 3rd, but same points with with Villa. And why I mentioned 5 is because we are both on 55 points, but we just have a better goal difference than Aston Villa, and we both lost. So yeah, I mean, it's not lost. Villa drew to Forest, but it's absolutely disappointing. Then when you go to the starting lineup, with regards to that, we started Lammens, Mazraoui, Yoro, Martinez, Shaw, and I didn't expect that Mazraoui was going to start this one, but he's there in the lineup. Then you have Casemiro and Ugarte. Then you have Ahmad, Fernandes, and Cunha. Then you have Šeško up top as striker, which I didn't expect that Šeško was going to start. I wanted Mbeumo to start because he adds something to the team, but it is what it is. I guess Michael Carrick thought that he could play Mbeumo and Ahmad on the same position based on one subbing off the other, but there's no point having a very active Mbeumo. You might as well have even put, if you wanted, you could have put Ahmad as as right back. I mean, I would not be opposed to that. Put Ahmad at right back, put Mbeumo up top, like as a right winger. It will still balance out eventually because Ahmad is good defensively and he's also good offensively. But it is what it is. But I might sound stupid, but this is Ahmad has played that position before. Not that that is his primary position, but putting him there will shake things up a little bit, and he will work hard, right? He will add another dimension to our attack. But nobody's gonna think about that. Nobody's gonna think about that. You must play players in their right positions, and even if they mess up, keep playing them in the right positions. Don't make changes. Don't do any form of innovative changes. But it is what it is. Let's run through player ratings. We'll start Senne Lammens in net. He gets a 5.5 rating from me. Really poor today, but was not his fault because he has had an unstable backline. Harry Maguire is not there. Leny Yoro was the only guy that stood out there in that defense. So basically, he had only maybe 3 saves in the entire game, as I mentioned earlier in the stats and all of that. Nothing particularly unique he made. He made 1 mistake or 2 mistakes. There was one pass he passed to Yoro that he passed it when Yoro was still trying to settle in. And I would say, okay, maybe Yoro took his eye off the ball for a bit and then nearly scored on us. Then you have the one pass he passed to Licha Martinez, and Licha Martinez was trying to find Casemiro, and Casemiro was basically blindsided, and that was how we lost that chance. So it's really, really disappointing. Yeah, so Lammens 5.5 rather. Nuzai Mazraoui, too many loose passes and everything. Maybe we just look at his stats and heat map. With regards to his stats, Nuzai Mazraoui covered most of the right side, but never really created any attacking outlet for us. He played 70 minutes with 49 touches, basically. And you know where I judge a player, especially if you're a defensive player or a midfielder, is in your defensive contributions. 9 defensive contributions, but was dispossessed 2 times, right? He had only 2 passes into final third, 49 touches, 1 touch in the opposition box. And he had 4 tackles, 3 clearances, 1 headed clearance, 2 interceptions, and 2 recoveries. He should have been the one that would come on for Dalot instead of Dalot coming on for him. But now I guess that is going to teach Michael Carrick to go on and play the team that has worked out for you instead of going to try new things and stuff. But it is what it is. Next person on our list is Leny Yoro. Leny Yoro did really well for the 20-year-old. Really showed what leadership meant from there. Was all over the pitch, was everywhere, was defending. At some point, he was the last man. He had to put in an effort and all that. He had 91 touches. And like I said, I'm going to judge him by defensive contributions. And his defensive contributions actually showed that he deserved to be a top performer in this game. Mazraoui gets my 6.0. Leny Yoro gets a 7.5. Right, 7.5. 91 touches. Touches into the opposition box. 4. Successful dribbles, 1 of 100%. Accurate long balls, 1 of 3, 33%. Passes in the final third, 3. Defensive contributions, 15. He had 1 block, 9 clearances, 5 headed clearances, 5 interceptions, 8 recoveries, and was dribble past once. Ground duels, 3 of 4, 75%. He won his ground duels. Aerial duels, 1, 6 of 8, 75%. 1 more of his aerial duels, and all of that. Like, absolutely amazing performance. He was fouled twice. He never committed any foul. Clean bill, you know. And he's just showing up, and he's just showing that we have a future in him, basically. We have a future in him, and we better maximize him, because the truth is, these are the kinds of players that Real Madrid tend to come for. And when Real Madrid comes for them, they are gone. Trust me. Now, next person is a very disappointing performance from Licha Martinez. 55.5 basically. He got 5.5. He had only 61 touches. And in truth, like I said, I judge players by their defensive contributions. His defensive contribution was 5 compared to Leny Yoro. You might say, oh, Leny Yoro played more minutes. Yes, but at least from the first half, defensive contribution should be high. He was everything we didn't expect to happen in that starting lineup. And because of his lack of height, it is very, very difficult for him to be able to deal with a player like Calvert-Lewin that is bullying. In all honesty, Licha Martinez was bullied by Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He played 56 minutes. He had only 61 touches. And then, like I said, defense contributions was 5. Accurate long balls, 3 or 4, 75%. Ground duels won 1 of 250%. Air duels won 1 of 250%. So basically, he committed 1 foul, and that was the 1 foul that got him a red card. And with that red card, it takes him out of the game, and he's not going to be available for Chelsea. Now, the Eddie in Heaven that I thought that, okay, my career could have started with preparing my head of the Chelsea game is now going to be forced to play that Chelsea game. So, you think about it, you take that kind of stupid risk, and it doesn't make sense at the end. Next player is Luke Shaw. Poor performance again today. 6.5 rating from me, from Luke Shaw. Was getting outrun multiple times. He was trying to create a lot on the attack. His heat map actually shows he was basically pretty high up and he was creating a lot of chances. He was the fly fullback in this situation, but then it didn't work out. He had only 75. He had 75 touches in the entirety of the game. And then, like I said, where I judge the player is in his defensive contributions. He had 5 defensive contributions. Nobody had better defensive contributions than Leny Yoro in that entire team and all of that. Ground duels won 4 of 7, 57%. Air duels won surprisingly 3 of 4, 75%. He was fouled once and he fouled twice. So next player on our list is a good performance from Casemiro again. 34-year-old Brazilian in his last couple of games for Man United. Was all over the place. At some point in the game, I noticed that Casemiro was being deployed as a centre back. And when he stayed there for like maybe 5 minutes, he had to be deployed up top as the attacking outlet. Then Bruno was the defensive midfielder and the pseudo centre-back, basically. Defensive midfielder and one of the back three, with Leny Yoro being the sole centre-back. And then, obviously, Luke Shaw playing as a fly full-back. And then, obviously, when Dalot came on, Dalot was the right back. So Bruno was doing everything from deep, creating everything from deep, still running forward and everything. Casemiro was up top, trying to get opportunities to create chances, dribble into the box and all of that. With regards to goals, he scored 1. He had 73 touches, and he had chances created. He created 4 shots on target, 2 shot accuracy, 2 of 200%. He had that header that was cleared off the line as well, and all of that by Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And then he had touches in the position box. He had 6. And like I said, judging him, he had in his defensive contribution, despite the fact that he was even higher up, he got 11 defensive contributions. So he gets an 8.0 rating from me. Top performer today. The next person is Manuel Ugarte. Manuel Ugarte basically had 78 touches in the game, basically. 78 touches. Played the full 90 minutes as well. I did his first 90 minutes under Michael Carrick and his first 90 minutes in Premier League this season. Accurate passes 45 of 52, which is 87%, which is also good. With regards to block shots, he had 2 block shots. Defensive contributions, like I said, that's how you know a player who is doing really well in the midfield. Underrated performance from Manuel Ugarte. He gets 12 defensive contributions. 78 touches in the position box, 2 final passes in the final third. He had 4 passes in the final third. Successful dribbles, he had 0 because he attempted 1. Accurate crosses, he attempted 1, he got 0. Accurate long balls, 1 of 3, 33%. And then obviously in his 12 defensive contributions, he had 3 tackles, 3 blocks, 3 clearances, 2 headed clearances, 2 interceptions, 1 recovery. And ground duels won 6 of 9, 67%. Air duels won. Obviously, he's not tall enough. So 1 of 4, 25%. Surprisingly, he didn't even get a yellow card in this one. And he was fouled 3 times and he fouled 2 times. Right? So pretty interesting. So I give him a 7.0. That's one of the 2 players or 3 players that I've counted. Yoro, Casemiro, and then Ugarte. Then next person on our list is Amad Diallo. One of his worst performances we've seen in a while for the 23-year-old Ivorian international. Basically had only 25 touches in the game. He was struggling to even get into the game, especially from the first half. Played 70 minutes and was played off the park. 16 of 18 accurate passes in his 70 minutes played, and 25 touches. He had a couple of chances, one of two accurate shots. One was wide and one was saved by the keeper, but those shots were not like really hot puck shots, right? Defensive contributions, he had 2 touches, 25 touches in the opposition box, 2 passing in final third, 2 corners. He had 1 that he played, and all of that. In his defensive contributions, it was just those 2 tackles that he made. Ground duels 1, 2 of 5, 60%. Air duels 1, 1 of 100%. Next person on our list is Bruno Magnifico Fernandes, doing things from deep, doing things from everywhere, all over the pitch, defensively, attacking wise, offensively, doing really well. 87 touches. Yoro had 91. He had 87. Right? Now, he had 1 assist. Obviously, my man of the match in this team. 8.5 rating from me. Right? Ran his socks off. Right? 50 of 66 passes. 76%. Obviously, we know Bruno is the one that likes to take risks. 5 chances created, 1 big chance created, shots blocked 1. But then he had 6 defensive contributions. Touches in the opposition box was 2. Accurate crosses was 4, 15, 20, 27%. Was poor today. Passing in final third 12. Corners 10. Dispossessed ones, which was that one that we saw I think in the first half, and all of that. 2 of 4. Ground duels 1, 1 of 100, air duels 1 of 100%. Next one on our list is Matheus Cunha, another one that stood up today. First half, he was probably invisible. Second half, was trying to make things happen. 7.0 rating from me today. Matheus Cunha was trying to make things happen in the attack. 47 touches in total, but also was involved defensively as well. Accurate passes 24 of 28, which is 86%, one of the highest. Chances created 2, shots on target 2. Shots of target 1, block shots 1, shots accuracy 2 of 3, 67%. Defensive contributions 7. And you see that in his recoveries. He had 3 recoveries, 2 tackles, 1 clearance, 1 interception, and 3, like I said, 3 recoveries. Air duels, ground duels, he had 5 of 8. Air duels 1 of 3, 63 and 33%, respectively. Fouls committed 2, and then was fouled twice as well. He got that yellow card. And that. Then next person is the guy that had one of the fewest touches in the game. I think Ahmad had fewer touches than him. Ahmad had 25 touches. Benjamin Šeško, 6.5 rating. One of his poor games today. His flick-ons were not happening. His first ball winning was not helping the team because the other players are not close to him to win that second ball. But it is what it is. They were too far. Ahmad was too far. At some point, Boom was also too far as well. Šeško has also been accustomed to playing a certain type of way, and then obviously you come and change it, and he's now the lone striker dealing with 3 defenders alone. They're going to get the ball off him. But if you had a player where if you had an Mbumo who draws players into the mid, that actually changes things. But yeah, he played the full 90 minutes, and shots on targets was 3, and then defensive contributions was 2, touches 26, touches in the opposition box 6, successful dribbles 1 of 100%. Ground duels 1 of 4, 25%. Air duels 1, 5 of 6, 83%. So he won his air duels, but then there's no one to win the second balls. Then the next one is obviously Diogo Dalot. Came on, he gets a 6.5 rating from me. Did really well for the number of touches and the minutes played. He played 20 minutes in total, or 27 if you count the extra time. Yeah. Then accurate crosses, accurate passes, 11 of 11, 100%. Right? Defensive contributions in that 20 minutes he played, 4. Touches, 19. Touches in the position box, 1. Successful dribbles, 1 of 100%. Accurate long balls, 1 of 100%. Right? And then when you look at his defensive contributions, it came from the tackles and the clearances. Then ground duels 1, 3 of 5, 60%. He didn't take part in any air duel, and that was it. Next person is Bryan Mbeumo. Bryan Mbeumo came on in the 70th minute, played 20 minutes. If you count extra time, 27 minutes. 16 touches in total. He gets a 6.0 from me. He wasn't really up to speed. He had the one chance that he wanted to shoot, and if he had faked the shot, he probably would have gotten a chance to break it and shoot with his left foot, but then he got defended. And yeah, accurate passes, 7 of 7, 100%. Right? Then defensive contributions 1, touches 16, touches in the opposition box 5. He was involved in a lot in the opposition box. 1 of 2 accurate passing, 50%. 1 of 1 accurate long balls, 100%. That was that cross from one side of the field to the other. Yeah, pretty much nothing more to report. He gets 6.0 from me, and that was it. Then if I'm going to give Michael Carrick a rating, Michael Carrick gets a 6.5 from me to poor management of the game, poor tactics. There was no structure. We're just going long balls, which was really, really disappointing. You go to another, and then the team, overall team rating or team performance is kind of like 6.5, maybe 7.0. But yeah, pretty much disappointed with how the team played today and how the team performed. And I believe we should be doing better. But it is what it is. Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. We can go on and on talking about this, but it's so disappointing that we have to just focus on, the next game against Chelsea, or even look at the Champions League games that are happening in the next couple of hours. But anyway, let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. And thank you for watching. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Goodbye. And God bless.